Ahí sí. Buenos días, vamos a dar inicio a este seminario, a esta ceremonia de inauguración. Le agradecemos su asistencia y los dejo con el doctor Iván Gallegos.
Hola, buenos días. Para mí, voy a saludar primero a todas las autoridades. Doctor Stephen Hartel, doctor Niels, doctora Patricia Gómez, directora académica del hospital, Eugenia Díaz, también, y todos queridos colegas. Para mí es un gusto recibirlos en esta ceremonia de bienvenida, de inauguración y también de puntapié definitivo para recibir todo este equipamiento que se refiere a la disponibilidad de este escáner de placas de alta flujo y poder dar, digamos, un paso más hacia adelante a la anatomía patológica que viene en los próximos años. Creo que es muy importante que un servicio como el nuestro tenga la posibilidad de poder utilizar esta maquinaria de alta tecnología con diversos fines. Pueden ser desde el pregrado, posgrado, formación continua de patólogos de nuestro país, investigación, coordinación con el biobanco y muchas otras prestaciones que pueden ser aplicables a esta posibilidad de digitalizar placas en alta definición. Creo que es un paso que no hubiéramos podido dar como servicio único. Creo que ha sido vital esta integración de decisión y funcionalidad con el grupo del CEPDI de la facultad. Creo que también ha sido indispensable el apoyo del hospital en términos de apoyarnos en la remodelación de la sala y en poder dar la mejor disposición física para poder tener este equipo en nuestro departamento. Además, coincide con que ayer llegaron los residentes de primer año. Podemos decirle que gozamos de muy buena adscripción a nuestro programa de formación de especialistas y tuvimos 8 integrantes que se integraron al departamento. 4 de ellos se han quedado en el hospital clínico, pero todos ellos son partícipes de este departamento único de anatomía patológica y para mí es un orgullo poder ofrecerles, digamos, la posibilidad al menos de poder integrarse al conocimiento, al uso y la aplicación de estas nuevas tecnologías en imágenes. Así que muchas gracias y voy a dar la palabra a Eugenia, que nos va a continuar con esta ceremonia.
Muy buenos días a nuestras autoridades y a todo el público que nos acompaña. Es en realidad con muchísimo gusto que en CPDI nosotros vemos concretada finalmente la inauguración de esta sala de telepatología en el servicio de anatomía patológica de nuestro hospital clínico. Ha pasado tiempo, 4 años, desde que nosotros recibimos con altas expectativas y con mucho entusiasmo el equipo escaneador de tejidos en Sala, generándose entonces el CPDI. Me acuerdo que en ese entonces, sin el escáner aún en nuestro poder, el doctor Niels nos ayudaba desde Alemania escaneando nuestras placas con las que hacíamos los primeros pilotos. Muchas gracias, doctor. Este moderno equipo, como les contaba, nos permitió abrir las puertas a 2 avances tecnológicos que aún no estaban presentes en ese entonces en nuestro país: la microscopía virtual y la patología digital. Fuimos pioneros en Chile en utilizar placas digitales en la docencia de pre y posgrado, recorriendo un estimulante camino, lleno de desafíos, pero no por eso libre de algunas dificultades que significan en general, que uno se encuentra en general cuando está introduciendo cambios innovadores en las formas tradicionales en que se han abordado la enseñanza. En la actualidad hemos llevado esta tecnología a la docencia universitaria no solo en nuestra casa de estudios, sino también fuera de ella a nivel nacional e internacional. Tenemos convenios de colaboración con las universidades de Talca y de Magallanes en nuestro país y con las universidades de El Salvador y de Sao Paulo en América Latina. En el ámbito de la patología digital, hemos desarrollado un sistema de trazabilidad de placas, plataformas de solicitud y de interconsulta. Alumnos del Magíster de Informática Médica, provenientes de las áreas de las matemáticas y la ingeniería, han desarrollado diversas aplicaciones que permiten automatizar algunas etapas en el análisis de biopsia para ciertas patologías, incorporando el uso de herramientas de Machine Learning, por ejemplo, en sistemas expertos con este propósito. Quisiera destacar muy especialmente y muy enfáticamente que toda la investigación y desarrollo que se hace en la Facultad de Medicina tiene como objetivo principal colaborar con el trabajo del médico patólogo. Las herramientas que nos interesa desarrollar son aquellas que pueden ir en apoyo a su trabajo clínico asistencial. Sin el concurso activo y permanente de los patólogos, la tecnología en sí misma carece de sentido, pues desconectada de la especialidad, su aporte no va a alcanzar un mayor potencial. En este punto quiero agradecer la apertura y colaboración que hemos encontrado en el director del servicio, el doctor Iván Gallegos. Gracias a este trabajo conjunto fue que logramos financiamiento a través del primer concurso de proyectos para el desarrollo de la telemedicina HCUCH, que permitió implementar la sala que hoy estamos inaugurando. Damos entonces por iniciado un camino que nos permitirá, trabajando codo a codo entre investigadores y patólogos, hacer uso de placas virtuales, tanto en el servicio de anatomía patológica como en el biobanco, como lo mencionaba el doctor Gallegos. Esta colaboración sin duda va a tener un impacto en la formación de posgrado y especialistas que se lleva a cabo en nuestro hospital clínico. La formulación de cursos online, plataformas educativas y de teleinterconsulta, como la que estamos implementando de manera piloto con el Hospital de Puerto Montt, sin duda permitirá fortalecer el correlato clínico en el proceso de formación de nuestros profesionales de la salud, posicionando a nuestra universidad como pionera en el desarrollo de la telemedicina en la región. Muchas gracias por asistir y estar acompañándonos.
Ahora dejo con ustedes a la doctora Patricia Gómez, directora académica del hospital, quien nos dará unos saludos.
Gracias. Muy buenos días. En primer lugar, saludarlos a todos y agradecer la presencia de nuestros distinguidos invitados, académicos y amigos. La doctora Graciela Rojas, actual directora general del Hospital Clínico, me pidió que la representara. Ella no pudo venir porque tuvo que hacer una presentación del hospital precisamente en el Consejo Universitario, que es en la Casa Central. Así que pide sus excusas y a nombre de ella y mío propio quisiera decirles que me produce una tremenda satisfacción estar aquí en este minuto, en esta ceremonia inaugural de la Sala de Patología Digital y Microscopía Virtual, que posibilitará la comunicación a distancia con otros especialistas nacionales e internacionales, permitiendo compartir de manera remota y con muy alta resolución imágenes, lo que permitirá apoyar el diagnóstico clínico y la academia. Permitirá realizar investigación colaborativa y educación continua en anatomía patológica, histología y en otras disciplinas que requieran el uso de imágenes de alta resolución. Además de lo anterior, la existencia de esta sala ha traído consigo otro tipo de consecuencias que también son muy importantes. Ha permitido afiatar los nexos y crear mayores lazos y mayores puentes entre la Facultad de Medicina y el Hospital Clínico de la Universidad, pues ha logrado hacer realidad esta sala gracias al esfuerzo conjunto de un equipo multidisciplinario de profesionales de ambas instituciones, liderados por el doctor Stephen Hartl, la doctora Eugenia Díaz y desde el hospital por el doctor Iván Gallegos de Anatomía Patológica. No puedo dejar de mencionar muy especialmente también a Loreto Rodríguez, que ha sido un motor en el desarrollo de la telemedicina en nuestro hospital. Mis más profundos agradecimientos a todos ellos y a varios más que no he nombrado, pero que están en las trincheras trabajando para que esto haya sido realidad. Este centro promete ser un centro de innovación, un referente nacional y latinoamericano en microscopía virtual y patología digital, lo que sin duda no puede sino generarnos una tremenda satisfacción. Así que muchas gracias a todos.
Hola a todos. Buen día. I will switch to English because I have to switch to Niels. And you have been saying almost everything, I think, already that is important to emphasize this day. I was just getting almost a little bit emotional because it's just a small day, but it's a huge workload behind. I just remember that the purchase of the scanner, which is really expensive, was done during a time where the Chilean peso lost like 20-30% of its value. I had forgotten that. That's good. And it was a really struggle to have that precious and still top line of the scanner quality, I guess Niels might correct me, equipment here in Chile. It's built in Japan, so it's terremoto approved. So we have that precious equipment, but precious equipment is not worth anything if it's not used. No? We know that. So I'm so happy that this machine is now here in the epicenter of action of pathologists, of modern teaching, of just getting used to modern technology. And yeah, Eugenia mentioned artificial intelligence, and Victor will say deep learning, and Niels will say very deep learning. No? And I think we just have to get used to work with the technology first, to be sure that electricity, update of Windows programs, the maintenance of the air condition, the guys and girls that clean the room are trained and ready, to keep that thing running first. But then also to understand what artificial intelligence, all the fancy algorithms can do to make pathologists more comfortable, more free, more supported in their daily decision, in their daily work, in exchanging images and expertise with people that might be in Tokyo, because they can see an image which is just the same quality as if they had the patient, no? I think you say el paciente todavía, no? Bajo el microscopio, under the microscope, because that's how we started, no? A few years ago. I really remember that pathologists sent patients by mail, no? By correo, post, to other parts of the world. And that's like completely illegal. So I think that was never done. Another pathologist took the camera from his fancy motorcycle helmet and screwed it with tape on the microscope and exchanged the image over the motorcycle camera to his friend in Boston. No? So that's over, I think, I hope, because now we have controlled quality, and we hope that we can contribute that pathologists and technicians and everybody can feel what happens in the decision process. No? And that's obviously where the pathologist has to be in charge. No? Probably the pathologist will not have the feeling what will we do the artificial intelligence algorithm in between. This will be more or less a black box, but we can take his hand and in a chain of expertise not lose control. No? Because the worst case that could happen for me in Chile, since I'm almost a Chilean now, is that we don't understand what's happening. No? And the world is evolving. And if we don't act and if we don't take contact with the new technologies, so somebody will just make a new pathology office here in Santiago and will just change the equation. No? And that shouldn't happen. And so we are many people here in the room. I think the expertise is here. We have good friends overseas. And I also wanted to mention that I also forgot, Niels now. I will switch to Niels. we met 2009, 10. Sandra was there also, no? In the context of medical informatics. I didn't even know what medical informatics was. I was in image processing. I said, okay, medical informatics sounds interesting. Image processing is a part of medical informatics, telemedicine, and it's a huge matrix that we understand now. No? And I met Niels, and he was doing fancy stuff, starting with the imaging center, digital pathology, and very open to collaborate. No? So we started, and really Niels gave us our hand, and we started to scan the first probes in his center, I think, no? Right? So we started to convince here the scientific community and later the pathologists that collaborated that the technique is solid. The quality of the picture is sufficiently good, and also the calibration. Yeah, so he's finally the reason that the scanner is here, in a very short story, no? And that's not it's something. So yeah, and Niels is an expert in I would say digital pathology. You can add more points. I might forget. He's an image processor. He works with tissue. Has done very nice work on tissue formation. Wound repairing also. And yeah, we try to use the scanner also in scientific projects, but also in education, and we are happy to have a lot of courses already in there. And yeah, and now we hope that also, and we'll do our best that has also an effect in the future about quality of pathology classifications. And yeah, we just have to step in, open our minds, and just go, I think. Not lose confidence and not lose our will and our conviction that will come. So I hand over to Niels. You will correct and add things to what I normally forget. Niels will speak in English. So I think we can slow him down if he's too fast. Make questions, I guess, also. So this should not be a one-dimensional talk. I think raise your hand, stop, or after that take questions and just celebrate that we are here today and have him here to give a talk. So thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, okay, it's good. Yeah, can you understand me? Yeah. Thanks very much for the invitation, especially to Steffen, who really is the heart of all these things and driving digital pathology, actually. So I didn't do much. It was Steffen's idea to build this bridge here. And it's a great honor for me to be here today and present some things. You have heard already from the previous speakers the general vision, education, science, and so on. So that's nothing I will go into detail. I just thought I'd just pick out one application and show it to you. Okay? So so this is application. So we see basically three big technologies coming into the medical field at the moment, as you have already heard. Artificial intelligence, whole slide scanning, that's why we are here. And we have also cloud technology, so things can be stored in the cloud, computed in the cloud, services made available in the cloud. So these are the three riders here. They are coming into town and changing some things. So what's the benefit, or is there a benefit, especially for you as pathologists? And I think it's a great benefit. It's a huge potential for you. And I tried to depict it here and makes it clear, because this technology empowers medical doctors very much. You see, this is, if you imagine that that's the actual workload you can do now, if you use digital pathology, artificial intelligence, and this imaging, so these three riders actually, that gives you a lever here which allows you to work on many more samples and have a much greater throughput than possible before, with some additional advantages as well. And the main advantage here, which have become available in the last years, is artificial intelligence. These are new technologies which have become available the last 3, 4, 5 years and allowed really to process large amounts of data with a very high accuracy, as you all know, from Amazon Alexa and so on, Google capabilities. And these are things, technologies, which will change the medical field. A key question we always debated, also with Steffen and in the clinics, is always, is AI, artificial intelligence, a threat to the pathologist? My view is no, it's not. It's helping. Because automation is only an intermediate step in the whole medical diagnosis. So it's framed in a specific pipeline. So it will always be the case that in pathology there's a sample, and in the end there's medical diagnosis, which is made and the treatment recommendation. So what we are talking of in the moment is just here, the middle step, and speeding that up, automating that, and improving that. But that's not a threat to the whole process, because we always have some fears that technology might displace and change too much. But what we have experienced, it's really a tool which helps. And another reason is it's not a threat because its reimbursement always will occur for that what's done here in the end. So this will just help speeding up the pipeline, but it's not replacing the pipeline. The pipeline will stay. So basically what we get is here more throughput, because artificial intelligence helps doing some tasks. We have cloud technology, as we have already heard here in the tasks. We have a larger outreach to more patients at the same time, larger geographic areas we can address. We can adapt very fast to new assays which need to be solved. No new diagnostic procedures. I will display one in a minute. And quality control is also something which takes a lot of work. These are things which also can be partly automated. And so I think these are very important advantages. And one example I brought to you here is an example actually from Heidelberg. And it is a change which is in the moment, in the making, as you know, in cervical cancer screening. There was an important discovery in 2008 in Heidelberg, which was the Nobel Prize for Harald Zuhausen. He worked all his lifetime on the relation between HPV and cervical cancer. And so we have approximately, by age of 50, 80% of the women will have been affected with HPV. And so there are more than 100 virus types available. And most prevalent and most important are the genotypes 16 and 18. So and if it's left untreated or undetected until reaching advanced stage, cervical cancer can be deadly. We have 570,000 new cases each year. So that was the latest number from 2018. And so it's one of the most important cancers, as you know. So far, we had in the cervical cancer screening, we have the PAP stain, properly gonal stain. So there are novel methods which come now into the field. And one important one is this alternative. It's a biomarker stain. It's called Syntac Plus. That's the name of the assay. Its other name is dual stain because it's two colors actually. It's red and brown. And so the cells are stained using two monoclonal antibodies against P16. It's a cell cycle protein in Ki67 as a cell proliferation marker. So if you have red and brown, it means you have an aberrant cell cycle and proliferation. Yeah, which actually means that this combination has shown to be one of the most important and most valuable biomarkers for detecting early cervical cancer lesions, and that with a very high specificity and high sensitivity. So it's much better than PAP. We'll see some statistics. So, but as we also have seen that and know that HPV is the main cause for cervical cancer, HPV sequencing is also something which is coming into the play, and so we will have a new diagnostics chain which comes up, and these And you can use it with HPV screening or without HPV screening, genetic screening in advance. And then if you do first HPV screening, then you can have here the triage using pap stain and Sentinel Plus test, or alternatively, you just use these tests as a primary screen. So that's a medical assay. And so what are the advantages? If you look now at the number of SYN cases detected, if you compare PAP versus here the combination of the sequencing and Syntac Plus, for example, you can have a 67% increase in diseases detected if you have SYN3 Plus as an endpoint. There's also a health economic model behind it. So you can see what happens in the end for the patient. You can see if you have PAP with a HPV triage here test, you can get over 50% increase here in the cervical cancer detection rate. At the same time, because you detect more cancers early, you can save the cost here per screened patient, and that goes down here. So you have much higher sensitivity and in the end, finally reduced cost. So, yeah?
What is the second graphic number?
Yeah. So if a patient is screened positive, the woman is referred further to a colposcopy, which is actually a biopsy, which is taken. So the question is, we will see better statistics on that in a minute. That's why I didn't explain it in detail. So here we have a comparable sensitivity in the moment. And if you compare PAP and the new test, so approximately the same number of patients go to biopsy. And this biopsy is basically what you want to avoid. It's very painful for the woman and also induces additional cost. So no benefit doing that unnecessarily. And the problem is if the test is not good, you get false positives, biopsies, unnecessary biopsies, which cause a lot of harm. And that's something we would like to avoid, and that's why it is good to have the best test available. So what we did now is we have this process here, sample taking, and then we have usually the conventional microscopic inspection. And that's something we digitized. And using scanning machines, so we do automatic scanning of the samples. Staining of the procedures, staining of the samples has been done previously. So then we digitize everything and transport it into the cloud. And then we have an automatic analysis pipeline built, which evaluates these samples which have been scanned, and then they're made available to the diagnosis for the doctor. And a very great advantage is that using digitization, you can split this value chain up through the internet, so you can have computing in the cloud, so you don't have to establish here any specific computing facilities. No specific storage you have to set up. Just have a scanner, that's what you have. You have the perfect setup now. You have the samples, scan it, send it to the cloud, that's it. No more. And at the same time, you have a greater efficiency in the end, as you will see. So we really can split these functions like scanning, where the analysis is done. This can be done anywhere on the globe. Yeah. You can scan it in Patagonia and diagnose it here, for example. So one important part is getting things digitized. So if you digitize, the question is always, what's with the quality? Is the quality good? Is it bad? Yeah, and these are things which we also can do, and with these scanners automatic. So for example, this is a system where we have, these are the patient samples which are scanned, and each patient sample has specific quality scores, which you see here in green, and then there are some samples, 2 samples here in red, where the machine has determined automatically this quality was insufficient. There was a problem. It's just a flag. And then you have the chance you can go into and see what's the matter. For example, usually we see these problems when there's a lot of inflammation. Yeah, a patient has a lot of inflammation, so the picture looks a bit different. Yeah, and then the machine says, okay, here's something strange, please have a look. Yeah, and then you see, okay, these are the two things, and the other ones you can go through screen. Don't care for it. It's fine. So this is a really great advantage because you have quality control built in. And for the AI, we had the following strategy. We developed now a fully automated analysis. We tested a fully automated analysis, but we don't apply it in a full automated analysis. We apply it in an assisted mode because we think, as Stefan already said, we have the opinion, and that's the best strategy, I think, that the pathologist has the final say. He makes a diagnosis, but he can use this technology here. And that's what the interface looks like. And I will try to make a live demo now, so you can see. You see it? No, just wait. We have probably to stop the. Just wait a second. Where is it? How can I get the second display? God, why it's not showing? Sorry. The idea view and the full screen. Let's wait. No. Here? It's coming. Wow. Okay. Lucky. Okay. Great. There it is. So what you can see here is a live view of systems. So this is what I meant with it's running in the cloud. So this is real. These samples are run on a server 10,000 kilometers away. Yeah. And I will just select a sample now here. There's one open already here. You can use that one. It's faster. So you see here the full sample. I'm trying to navigate it here. So what the computer is doing here, you see, is a gallery, and it's picking out those events which are potentially cancerous events. And for each of these events, it assigns a certain likelihood, a probability, which is displayed here. And so you can now click on this image, the tile which has been selected, and the system automatically jumps to this event, and you can inspect it here. So on the right side, you see the fully scanned sample with all potential spots which are important to look at. Yeah, and then you can then walk very easily through these individual cells which have been picked out. And you see already here you have a nice depiction in yellow, which means the likelihood has dropped under a certain threshold. So that's very easy to make a diagnosis. And in the end, you can get some green samples. So you see it's another case. Yeah, and you immediately see there's so many in the diagnosis with a syntax test. It's enough if you have one single positive double stained cell. One would be enough. So, and you see here there's already 10. Yeah, so this case is clear positive, no question. Yeah, it's very easy and very fast to work with. Another sample. So this is, for example, a negative case. So everything is green. Just click on it. Yeah, there's some additional annotations. This is for the demo possibility. You could make any additional things on it. You could mark cases, make errors or question marks, whatever. And then you can walk through, easily click here through all kinds of events, the endless possibilities to look at samples. So these are the most probable parts which have been picked out. So it's for you, if you do a diagnosis, extremely fast. Yeah, just go through and then see, this is negative patient. Yeah, this is positive, and it takes less than a minute. Yeah, to make a diagnosis. That's the idea. Just have to file back for the mouse. So that's the system. And so how good is it? This is a study we have done on over 6,000 patients with the US National Cancer Institute. And you see here the sensitivity and the specificity and this is the statistical receiver operator curve. And if you look at the conventional pub test here, you see you're about approximately here. So if you use the manual interpretation of the syntax plus test, you increase in specificity, but do not lose sensitivity. And if you use automation, you are on our curve here, on the black curve, you even gain more specificity. And this has been validated now. This is on over 3,000 patients. So, and we calculated that down to the number of colposcopies in the study. This has not been done by us, but by the US National Cancer Institute. So how many women finally are sent to colposcopy? That's the key question. If you use a conventional pub test, so for this, in total it's 3,100 women, which have been analyzed here, you have to send 1,860 women to colposcopy, just to be sure. If you use the syntax test, you already gain here. You don't only have to send 1,536 women to colposcopy, so you save 324 women. And if you use now the automated version, this even goes down to 1,298 women, and you save 562. So you not only have a very fast analysis, you also have a medical advantage, because you have to send less women to colposcopy in the end. And I think that combines very nicely the advantages in digital pathology. There's also a health economic model we calculated. We can go, who's interested later in detail in it. The point is, basically, we can do a lot more throughput, have a larger outreach, we can make more samples, and that generates enough additional revenue for paying off the artificial intelligence or digitization costs. So you even, through this outreach, can make many more diagnoses. For example, here you can see the calculation depends on the health system. I'm not aware of the health system in detail here in Chile, but it can be adapted. But the point is you have a huge reduction in the analysis time. You have a certain profit per slide. And then in the end, you have to pay something for the analysis, but in the end, you make a higher profit because the throughput is increased.
You show the receiver rating characteristic curve. What are the area under the curve of that metric?
The area under curve? I would have to go into the statistics. I don't know the area. It depends actually here. This is something. The exact value I don't know.
And that curve is for the testing set or the training set?
No, this is testing. This is an independent test set of 3,100 women. This was trained on over 1,000 women, and this is a validation. This is completely independent.
And on an unbalanced test set or a balanced test set? Because for the positive cases, they are very minimum. I don't know, for 10% of the total population.
This is a screening study, which the screening study itself has already been published by the US National Cancer Institute. Is it representative of the population? So this is real valuable data. I have detailed statistics, some data here I can show in a minute. Yeah, so in summary, we've seen it's possible to have higher throughput using cloud. That even works now. What we have seen here, that was via Stefan's handy, a mobile phone. It was his mobile phone connection. Yeah, this was nothing very fancy. Yeah, it would work anywhere. Yeah, and it's very easy to adopt to these new assays because software is there. You could directly use it. Yeah, and quality control comes for free. So this is an example of what I've shown for the Syntax Plus test now, which is expected to become one of the major tests, which is in gynecological cancer screening. In the cytoreader system I've shown is so far the only AI-based system which can do the analysis. And what the advantage here is we have a clear medical advantage, and combined with a health economic model. Here again, the numbers you can see. These are the same numbers as before, but in percent here you can see 60% of the women usually you have to send to colposcopy. With the Centec it's reduced to 50, and with artificial intelligence you even can reduce it further to nearly 40%. Yeah, this is a summary. Thanks very much for the opportunity. This is a project which has been done and funded also by the National Cancer Institute with our colleagues there, Division of Cancer Epidemiology. They provide the data. We have now much larger studies. We are doing a validation now with over 50,000 additional patients. So this will become very huge. But we can already see now that this will be a very valuable medical extension, I think. So, and with that, I would like to end. Are there further questions? Yeah.
So the orange part of the graphic is a woman that otherwise would be diagnosed as positive.
Yeah, yeah. They are part. Usually, you would be in the pub line.
They would go to colposcopy.
Yeah.
You know, there is a study that observed these women respectively and show that they actually were negative after they low.
Yeah. That's what we know. That's what we know because this is a study which has been done in collaboration with Kaiser Permanente in the US. Yeah, they have. It's a very rare study where all women have been followed up, and we have the ground truth data in terms of histology. Yeah, so so we really know the ground truth data here. That's why this is not a match man against machine, but method against ground truth. Yeah, yeah. No, it's an important question. It's a very important question.
The number, the new version, how many of the blue side is still false positive? Because probably you still have a...
Yeah, sure. We have this.
How much you still have to gain?
So this is a detail. I didn't want to show the detailed statistics, but if you're asking anyway, I can show. Here you see all the numbers. Yeah. So these are the three. So this is currently under publication. Yeah. This is not published yet, but it will come out in the next weeks, hopefully. Yeah. So it's brand new and more or less internal now here. So you see the pub cytology on top. So this the corpus referral population here is 1,860. You have the specificity here and the sensitivity. So we know for each woman exactly if it's really true positive or not. Yeah, and there are also different variations of the methods we have. The statistical the p-values are also computed here. So you can see here that sensitivity is 85% on top, and with the manual you get even a higher sensitivity. That's something I didn't show in detail. There's also some confidence intervals you have to see. And with the automated, you are a bit in the middle here, 88 between the pub and the manual, pure manual. But the important part is here that the specificity is increased a lot by nearly 10% by the automated method. That's a crucial part here. You don't lose sensitivity, but you gain the specificity. So that's why there's still only a specificity of 60%. It's not perfect, no way. Yeah, but that's the best you can have in the moment in medicine. Yeah.
I have a question here, when I'm being secured about that application and
so security. So this runs under the Google Cloud platform. So the Google Cloud platform provides certain measures for protection. And also data security is secured according to HIPAA, US HIPAA standards. This is US standard, what you have to ensure to have to protect patient data. We are not storing any personal data anyway on the web. Yeah, that's not. It's just the images. Yeah, so that's not so critical. But anyway, HIPAA standards would apply, and as is an established cloud platform by Google, the same security measures apply, and then you have to protect additionally the server systems, but these are conventional things.
In the figure of one link per slide, you are considering also the uploading of the image, the analysis of the image, the algorithm itself?
No, this is the diagnostics time. The 1 minute per slide is really what you need, because the advantage of this pipeline is that all these things run in the background. So nobody cares how long it takes to upload a slide, yeah, actually. And in the moment, as you've seen with the mobile connection of Stefan's iPhone, this works quite well. Stefan's specially sophisticated iPhone, which is much better than other iPhones. So. Of the what? Of the essay? This is not fixed yet. That's not fixed yet. The essay is marked by Roche. So, and I'm not speaking for Roche. I can give you a very good price. but this is something you would have to negotiate with Roche, actually. But they are very eager in the moment to establish it in the market. So we will have a good negotiation position, I guess.
Probably will be very more expensive than the common psychology. So we have two skills definitions. Psychology based. Because in Chile, the most common psychology screening test is just to extend
the smear.
Very, very cheap. Basic psychology.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times. And you the probably will jump 10 times.
It will be, yeah, not fully, but I would say not so much. In Germany, at least, I know numbers are not so different, but there's a factor definitely in the costs. Yes, liquid-based cytology is definitely more expensive. Yeah, so these preparations is done using liquid cytology. Yeah, they're basically in the moment there are 2 different preparation methods, SynPrep and SurePass methods, and this works on both. So you can use any of those methods. But there may be other solutions coming up as well. So this is.
That's very good.
Yeah, this will be. Yeah, that's a reason why this combination with sequencing will be very interesting, because
you can be the wall screen.
Yeah.
Select some patient to record.
Yeah.
After the sequenciation.
Yeah, exactly. That is the idea here. Yeah, that you have sequencing, mass sequencing, and the moment you filter out most of the negatives already, yeah. And if you have, but the problem is that the specificity of sequencing is bad. So if you can rule out the negatives, but for the positives you have to check them using either PUB or using the best specificity available in the moment is Syntax. There's no other alternative. Yeah, that's why it's probably the preferred. Also in the US, that probably will become the most implemented model. But it's but I learned it's to change. Yeah, that is different countries may have different guidelines, different implementations.
Working out about the sequenciation to replace just the cytology like most screen.
Yeah, but then would be a good combination. Question
of ignorance. It's an expensive part in the liquid. The liquid base is maybe 3 times more expensive than the base. Why? This is a machine, and you can perform this chemistry and mathematics.
I'm not so much into these machines in detail, but my feeling is that when there's charge a lot of but it's actually not a very big machine, so I think it's a bit artificial, the price. Yeah.
I remember that here the base is Chile 10 years ago. Now it's very hard to it's very hard.
Because of the price.
Yes. The government China and maybe some private centers are using them, but still have very low penetrance in the cost.
Okay.
But probably maybe sequencing first and after using this new method, the pathologically based probably would be better for our country.
Yeah, and I could imagine if there will be novel liquid-based methods maybe coming up that could additionally be helpful.
More questions? La pregunta en español podemos traducir también. Si no.
Okay, thanks very much.
You know what comes next, no? It will be the part of cutting some elegant
Muchas gracias. Ahora los invitamos a al corte oficial de la cinta de nuestra sala de telepatología y después los invitamos a un pequeño coffee.